Ladies and gentlemen, many of you might even know about the riots that took place down in Wilmington, North Carolina, the 1898 riot, where Wilmington had a really large Black population. And then after the riot, it went from Black to white. So it's just funny how this particular area is the one that was impacted the most by Hurricane Florence. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out in Think Progress November 16th, 2018. People are still being displaced by Hurricane Florence. They are now making people in apartment complex evacuate and terminating people's leases. So they must leave whether they like to or not. Thousands told to vacate North Carolina apartments in second wave of people displaced by Florence. Many are finding themselves newly homeless months after the hurricane hit. Families had to leave their homes in Wilmington, North Carolina after black mold was discovered following Hurricane Florence. Yeah, you can't be around black mold. That stuff can make you sick and eventually kill you. One day after the deadline to move out, the final stragglers were solemnly packing up their cars, filling them with whatever belongings could fit inside. The rest, couches, microwaves, carpets, and other furnitures were left abandoned in piles outside the red brick building, single-story homes. Blue tarp covered most of the roofs, and doorways were sealed off as cleanup crews began their work. Some 700 tenants of the Market North affordable housing apartment complex in Wilmington, North Carolina, were given 1 week's notice to leave their homes after black mold was discovered in wake of Hurricane Florence. Residents were able to push the deadline back 1 more week, but the entire complex was vacated by October 22nd. A second wave of displaced people are finding themselves newly homeless months after Florence hit the state. Beginning at the end of September, at least 6 apartment complexes in New Hanover County have issued notices to the majority or all of their residents to vacate. Long after the floodwaters receded, thousands of people have had to pack their bags and leave. With much of the temporary housing, rental apartments, Airbnb, or hotels already full from the initial impact of Florence, finding a new place to stay in Wilmington is a challenge. Some may stay with family, while others will be forced to look further away for a place to live. The FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, is often one of the first places people turn for disaster assistance. FEMA is horrible. But as John Mills, a FEMA spokesperson who has based in North Carolina since just before Florence struck, told Think Progress, FEMA money does not solve the issue of the shortage of available housing. People may need to relocate, Mills said. This is one of the challenges that a lot of survivors have. They have ties to the community, they have jobs, they have family members there, and large disasters with significant flooding and major damage create long-term recovery challenges for communities, displaced communities. The first housing complex to order residents to move out was the Glen. Less than 2 weeks after Florence hit, management told nearly 1,000 people that their leases were terminated because of water damage, mold, leaking roofs, and asbestos that was not exposed prior to walls and sheetrock torn apart as a direct result of the hurricane. The complex shuttered on October 6th. The New Province Park was next. On September 26, management sent letters to 350 tenants stating that due to damage from Hurricane Florence, we must terminate your tenancy effective immediately. Residents were told the termination was authorized under the natural disaster clause in their leases. Power across the 5 apartment buildings was set to turn off. Okay, so they turned power off in the afternoon after they told them they had to get out immediately. Okay, then came Clear Run apartment complex, which notified residents October 1st that they had to be out within a week due to flood damage. Then it was the Reserve at Forest Hill, and then Market North. The notices have continued into November. Just this week, 2 months after the storm, and a week before Thanksgiving, a 6 complex, Gervais Apartments, was told to partially vacate. Yeah, and you can see the tarps there. Yeah, it's got black mold. You can't live there. So they're saying this is Market North in Wilmington, North Carolina, was emptied on October 23rd. So it's completely empty. Can't live there. The commonality that they have is that they only gave them days to get out. Annie Anthony, chief executive of Cape Fear Volunteer Center, told Think Progress the organization helped affected Wilmington residents pack up their homes and find storage units. I mean, we've just had a hurricane and the town isn't even functioning. People aren't even able to get all the way back, Anthony said. Among the group of apartments that issued notices to vacate the property are at least 4 low-income housing complexes. And while having to pack up and find a new home in less than a week is a challenge for anyone, finding alternate affordable housing in a hurricane-hit town is exceptionally difficult for those forced to leave the Glen, the Reserve, Gervais Apartments, and Market North. On top of immediate concerns regarding where all of these people will now live and the costs involved, there is a looming unanswered question: how long it will be before they can return home. It's the thing. That place got so messed up during, especially Wilmington, North Carolina, got so messed up. It is going to be years and years before they really get that place back. You're not going to get that back immediately, if at all, like they said. An emerging pattern: the number of apartment evictions in the aftermath of severe storms has been slowly rising in recent years. Following Hurricane Katrina in 2005, there were reports of low-income tenants in Mississippi and Louisiana facing a wave of evictions. The Superstorm Sandy in 2012, some 80,000 tenants were served eviction notices by the New York Housing Authority just days after the storm hit. That's very true. You know, they had a lot of houses down by the shore here in New Jersey, and they never built those homes back. The insurance company would not cover them. So those people literally lost their home and they have no chance of getting their home rebuilt, not unless they put the money out of pocket. If they don't do that, they're not getting anything back. You know, you would be amazed at how many people pay for insurance, and when a large disaster hit, they can't use their insurance. The insurance company will tell you they'll go bankrupt if they can't, if they got to pay out all of these claims, they would have to go out of business. So what they do is they continue on in business and try not to pay out, although you paid for the insurance. I mean, it's really a shady business. It really is. But ladies and gentlemen, I will leave the link to this article in the description box. I know these people are so done, but there's nothing you can do, especially if the apartment complex is no longer, a livable place. And it's very common after hurricanes that they're just not. It's a shame they couldn't get relocated immediately after the storm, but it seems like America don't prepare for nothing. So people end up displaced and have nowhere to go. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen, about this story in Wilmington, Delaware, with all of these people that are now still being evicted from their apartment complex and their leases terminated. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.